Now we are going to discuss the limit switch. What is a limit switch? A limit switch is an electromechanical device that consists of an actuator mechanically linked to a set of contacts. When an object comes into contact with the actuator, the device operates a contact to make or break an electrical connection. So, to make here is to close the contact, and to break here is to open the contact. We have here the actuator or operating head, which it is the part of the switch which physically comes in contact with the target. And with the switch body, it is the component containing the electrical contact mechanism. Regarding the receptacle or terminals, the component containing the terminal is screws or screw clamp assembly necessary for wiring purposes. We have here the physical appearance of limit switches. This depends of what limit switches we are going to use. So it is our decision what type of limit switches are we going to use in our system. Lots of designs of limit switches, but what kind of limit switch we needed? So by knowing the terminals of the limit switch, which is written here COM, then that is common, and NO for normally open, and NC for normally closed. It is labeled into the terminals. But what about if the limit switch is already being fixed and installed? So we never know terminals. So we know the symbols, but we do not know which terminal is normally open or normally closed. So by the use of multi-tester, we should know where is normally open and normally closed. So by just testing the two terminals first, then the pointer doesn't deflect, meaning this is normally open. But the other terminals, the pointer deflects, and we know it is normally closed. So the function of the limit switch, wherein we have here in the picture, it is a device installed to activate powering off a mechanism. So powering off meaning it holds the system. While the other limit switch, it is a device installed to activate powering on a mechanism. So this limit switch, when you open the door of the refrigerator, it lighted the inside. So powering on of mechanism. In here, we should know the function of the limit switch. When the actuator is triggered, the normally closed contacts open and the normally open contact is closed. So let us just simulate to know how the normally closed contact is open. In here, it comes from normally closed, then it opens the contact and it holds the system. So let's watch again. Once more. Now we know when the actuator is being triggered, the normally closed contact opens and the normally open contact is closed. So our picture here, when the traveler triggered the actuator, then the system stops. So we have a picture here again. We have here the limit switch and we have here the triggering device that when it is being in contact with the actuator, then the system halts. Another one, on board the ship, we have our engine room overhead crane. There are also limit switches installed for safety purposes. And of course, we have the provision crane and limit switch is also installed for safety purposes on board the ship. Okay, so let's just watch a preview for the limit switches. Installing a domestic limit switch to a cabinet is just one of the common methods to choose your favorite dress to wear. By opening the refrigerator door, you will amaze of seeing the bulb switching on and off during the opening and closing of the door. Traveling a food cargo so far is stopped by a limit switch. On board the ship at the engine room casing, there is what we call an overhead crane, which uses for transporting heavy spares for our main engine, and of course, this is protected with a limit switches. The ship cannot run without a rudder, and a rudder is being controlled by steering gear. Steering gear is operated with a hydraulic system, and we know that a hydraulic is done through a high pressure. So, starting the hydraulic system and executes the movement of the hydraulic ramp to hard port or hard starboard is only stopped by a limit switch.
Resume hoisting. When the davit arm approaches the stowed position, the davit arm strikes the limit switch and the boat winch stops automatically. Only after it has been confirmed that the winch has stopped completely may the crew disembark the life.
The lifeboat attached to the davit, and upon reaching its position for securing, this is controlled to stop by a limit switch. So, let's just make it sure that our limit switch is always working in a ship-shape condition. We are engineers, and we will not let this thing happen. Limit switch didn't work.